Are you new to project management? Or maybe you need to learn about how to create an agile way of working so that you can create the right product for the right customer at the right time fast. Well, I'm going to talk to you today about Agile and Scrum, coming up next on Project Skills Mentor. Well, hi everyone, I'm the Project Skills Mentor and I talk about projects, teams, mentoring, and more. And today we're all about how Agile works for you. So let me give you some tools, some information, and if you'd like more details, you'll get a link to blogs below and other videos to help you round out your knowledge about Agile. But let's get right into it. What is Agile and why is it important? Well, Agile is a key tool for any project manager, which is why it's part of my PM Fundamental series. But more than that, it's used by companies like Apple, Google, YouTube, Adobe, and more. Agile started in the software business, but it's moved right across the spectrum of projects and is used everywhere today where products are iteratively created for the right customer at the right time. So what makes Agile different? Well, let me take you through a few points. First, it's fast and flexible, and that's cornerstone to Agile. Next, it's very customer and end user centric. They are part of the design and build process. Because of that, the team actually works differently. There are different roles than there are in traditional project management, and they focus on ceremonies. Now, ceremonies sounds like a funny word, but it really is codifying the glue that holds people together. So related to that, let's get into the 4 Agile declarations, and then let's break it down. So, declaration number 1, people and communication over processes and tools. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Customer collaboration over contract negotiations. And acknowledging changes over following a specific plan. This is what makes Agile so different than Waterfall. And in fact, I'll show you my chart here on the differences between Agile and Waterfall in a summary breakdown. You can actually access this and more on my blog. I'll leave the links below so you can see specifically what parts of my blog show this kind of information. So Agile is a methodology. The approach might be Scrum. So let's dive into that. You start with Sprint 0 with a vision, and that often is done through a workshop where you talk about who your user is and what their needs are, what kind of a product would serve those needs, and how that product would be manifested. What kind of product would it be? Now, when you're doing this, you're going to want to figure out the product backlog, which is the entire list of functionality necessary to complete that product. So once you've created that vision, you can get into your first sprint. Your first sprint will dictate what features you're going to design and build first. You would estimate how long that work would take, so you'd want to time box it, and normally sprints are time boxed between 2 and 4 weeks. And you'd want to commit to the sprint so everyone understands this is the work we're going to do. In your daily Scrum, the entire team comes together for just a few minutes to talk about what they did yesterday, what they're doing today, and any obstacles that need to be addressed. If you come across an obstacle, you might actually backlog that item, and you'll do that again visibly on your Kanban board. But that helps the team keep moving on what they can do. The next is sprint review. That's checking the work after the sprint is complete to make sure you understand what's past inspection, what's good to go, and what needs to go into backlog. And the last one is the burn down chart, that final list of things to get done so that the product can be launched. Next, a sprint retrospective, and that's really understanding how you're doing. Do you need to make changes and modifications? Demo all the features, discuss what's done and what wasn't done, and check for quality. Any of those changes will be added to the backlog. Any features that they want to redefine will be added to the backlog, and then they will create a new sprint planning meeting for the next sprint. Sprint 2 will then go through the same process that Sprint 1 went through. From that, you've iteratively created your product along the way, adapted with your user and customer input, and built a product you think will best suit the user's needs in the least amount of time and cost. This is a unique way of working, as I mentioned, especially around the project team. So let's dive into that. Let's talk about the first team role, the product owner. The product owner is critical. They represent all stakeholders in the project. Since Agile and Scrum often work in storyboards, they make sure those storyboards are correct for the user base. Scrum Master leads the team, guides them through the processes, makes sure the rules of Scrum and Agile are obeyed, and runs the daily stand-ups that we've talked about earlier. Project teams working in Agile Scrum work self-leading, works very closely together, and they handle basically all the functional design build and the technical build of the product. Scrum isn't hard. All it takes is a little bit of information and a little bit of preparation. So if you need to know more, I recommend how to run a workshop, and I have a free downloadable for you to use to help you get prepared for that workshop, and something on user experience. Understanding this core belief of Scrum about user experience is really key. So check out these 2 videos and they'll make you ready for your next adventure in Scrum. I hope you found this information helpful, and I hope to see you next time on ProjectSkillsMentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.